loves, so this is my 1 week update of baby Isaac. He's finally here and he's absolutely gorgeous. I just love him so much. But his 1 week update, I'm gonna start off with his first 3 nights. Nighttime tends to be, or was the hardest for me because Isaac doesn't like to sleep at night. He didn't like to sleep at night when he was in me and even out of me. He still doesn't like to sleep at night. But straight out of the hospital, I did need my sleep because I was in so much pain and I needed to heal. So I did need my sleep. My mom helped me out a lot, especially in the first 3 nights. She did take him from me and rock him all night while he didn't want to sleep, just so that I could sleep and heal. As far as his temperament, he is a very content baby. He never cries unless he needs something. Like, he never just sits around and cries or whines for no reason. The only time he cries is when he's getting his diaper changed, when you're bathing him or washing him down or changing his clothes. He doesn't really cry when he's hungry, he more so whines. So yeah, his temperament is perfect. Like, if you come over and you meet him and you hold him, even if you don't know him, even if he doesn't know your smell, he'll just let you hold him as he sleeps for hours and hours and hours on end. Like, he can sleep a very long time and he'll just open his eyes and look at you for a second just to make sure he's still being held and then go straight back to sleep. Because if he does open his eyes and he realizes he's not being held anymore, or that you put him down somewhere, he does cry and, you know, get your attention so that you can pick him up and hold him again. And obviously at 1 week postpartum, I don't want to let him cry it out. Like, I'm gonna pick him up if he cries. So he is definitely being spoiled by everyone. The only thing to me that is the hardest is just at night. He doesn't like his co-sleeper, and I just can't figure out how to get him to sleep in his co-sleeper because, I mean, he literally refuses, and the second you lay him down in there, he'll wake up. Like, he'll be sleeping perfectly in your arms. You lay him down in his co-sleeper, he wakes up and he cries. So that's something that I'm still trying to figure out to this day. As far as his weight, he was 7 pounds 10 ounces when he left the hospital. His weight at birth, it's up for question because they told me he was 7'15" right after he was born. Then on his little paper that was on his bassinet, it said a completely different birth weight, which I don't remember at this exact moment. And then on his birth certificate, it said he was 7'12". So he was definitely somewhere between 7'12" and 7'15". I tend to go with 7'15" since that's what they told me he was right after he was born. But he was 7'10" for sure coming out the hospital. That's one thing that never changed. So it's definitely normal for babies to lose a little bit of weight once or after they're born. So that was perfectly fine. Next, I want to talk about his nursing. He is absolutely a perfect nurser. From the moment he came out, he latched on and began eating and eats perfectly. After that, in the hospital, he would eat for super long periods of time. Like, he would eat for like half hour to an hour. Now he more eats for 20 minutes or so. Another thing was he was born with jaundice, very slight amount of jaundice, not enough to get treated with light therapy. So that's one thing that, you know, worried me in the first week, because to me his eyes looked yellow and his skin looked really red. I wasn't sure if that was his normal skin color just from being mixed with Black and Hispanic, or if it had to do with jaundice. So when I went in for my first week appointment, I did ask about his jaundice, and they did send me to the hospital to get his levels checked just to make sure they didn't increase, since I was worried about it. But the levels didn't increase and they did decrease, and the doctor told me he did still have slight amount of jaundice. He was at a 10 and she said, you don't worry unless they're at a 20. So it still wasn't enough for light therapy. I honestly did want him to just get light therapy and just get it all to just go away and not have to worry about it, especially because for some reason I could see yellow in his eyes. The doctor told me she couldn't see yellow and she couldn't see redness in his skin either. So I really don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe I'm just overly worried. Another thing that shows how worried I am, I mean, it's just part of being his first time mother, is when he's quiet for a very long time or sleeping for a very long time, I tend to like to shake him a little bit or like to bother him a little bit. Just to make sure that he's still alive. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm the only mother that does that, but I'm always constantly checking to make sure he's still breathing and he's still alive. And when I say shake him, I don't mean like literally shake him. I'll just like pick up his arm and move his arm a little bit or move his leg a little bit just to make sure that he's still alive and still breathing. The last thing I want to talk about as far as him is his Mongolian spots. He still has them. I'm not sure if they're going to go away. Once again, the doctor said that completely normal. they're just birthmarks that happen to look like bruises. It happens to look like he got punched in his back. But yeah, it's like basically just a big blue looking bruise on his back and his butt. And he has one really slight one on his thighs. Like no one would ever notice it. Or it's just one on his thigh. No one ever noticed it because it's just that light. I only noticed it because I know he does have Mongolian spots, and so yeah, it's obvious to me, but it definitely wouldn't be obvious to anyone else, at least the one on his thigh, because it's just so light. But the one on his back, I'll try to include a picture in this video of the one on his back just so you can see what it looks like. It's a pretty serious looking bruise, or it's not a bruise, it looks like a bruise on his back. But hopefully it goes away at 5 years or before 5 years, if not before puberty. If not, I mean, it's not a big deal if he does have it for the rest of his life, because it's just a birthmark. So let me get into me. At 1 week postpartum, I felt like I was in a ton of pain. I felt super sore. It's just stuff that I didn't expect, and I felt like I was bleeding a lot, even though the doctor told me that I wasn't bleeding a lot at all. She said my bleeding was very minor, but to me, just because it was all new to me, it just felt like a lot. Just sitting down, every time I sat down, I had to sit down slowly because down there was just so sore and so painful. The doctor does give you a water bottle so that when you go to the bathroom, you squeeze water onto yourself and you pat dry. You can not wipe, at least I couldn't. I did have a 1st-degree tear, and I did have a couple of stitches. I have no idea how many. I didn't ask, and I wish I did, but I did have a 1st-degree tear, so that might have contributed to the pain that I was feeling. So as far as my stomach at 1 week postpartum, it was still very big and swollen looking. My belly button was protruding a lot, and I wanted to wear the belly band literally the moment I gave birth, but it didn't fit. I had to go ahead and get a medium, but I wasn't able to get a medium within the 1st week, so that did, you know, kind of push back my healing process as far as my stomach, because I wasn't able to wear it in the 1st week because it didn't fit. So I did definitely look like I was 7 to 8 months pregnant at 1 week postpartum, which was kind of sad, but like I said, it wasn't something that I expected. Even when I went to the hospital, as far as the clothes that I brought to go home in, I brought pre-pregnancy clothes, and they definitely didn't fit because of my stomach. So that's how much I didn't expect to have a stomach at all, is because, I mean, I had to wear pajamas home because my pre-pregnancy clothes that I brought with me, I mean, definitely did not fit at all. As far as breastfeeding, baby was a perfect breastfeeder, but as far as me, I had a little bit to learn. I was in so much pain. The baby was literally ripping skin off my boobies or my nipples. I was in so much pain that like my toes would curl when I would feed, and I was even contemplating having to quit, although I never would quit, but it was just something that I would think about every once in a while because I was in so much pain. It's definitely true what they say about if it's painful, then the baby's not latched on correctly, because the moment I realized how to latch him on correctly, the pain went away immediately. I basically wasn't putting enough of myself in his mouth. So once I put more of my nipple in his mouth, everything was perfect after that. No more pain, no more tearing of the skin off my boobs and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely didn't really put him on to latch correctly until like exactly a week postpartum. So for a whole week, I was just in so much pain, y'all. As far as postpartum anxiety or depression, none of that. I'm actually just way too happy to have him here. I'm way too happy that he's healthy. None of that postpartum depression or sadness at all. The last thing I want to talk about is weight gain, or weight loss. I mean, I lost all my weight within the 1st week. I'm actually weighing less than I did when I first got pregnant. Within pretty much when I got home from the hospital, I was 154. And before I gave birth, I was 166. So when I got home from the hospital, I was 154. At a week postpartum, I was 144. So that was just a ton of weight loss in the 1st week. I couldn't control it. I didn't really have an appetite. And then on top of that, I felt like there was no time to eat, just because my baby doesn't like to be put down ever. So yeah, that was a ton of weight to lose. I did have to go back to taking my new weight nutritional supplements, my Ensure Plus, Boost Plus, all that stuff to help maintain my weight, just because I was losing so quickly and so fast. But even with all that weight loss, my stomach was still huge, which, you know, obviously sucked a ton. So yeah, that's, you know, my weight loss at this moment. I'm probably the only person post-pregnancy that is trying to gain weight. that's like my struggle my whole life, is trying to gain weight. So my perfect weight for me is 150. So at 144, I'm trying to get back to 150. It's a struggle because you lose a ton of weight from breastfeeding, and then I lose a ton of weight just because my appetite isn't that good. And then on top of that, I don't feel like I have time to eat because he always wants to be held. So that is my 1 week postpartum update. At the end of this video, I'll just show you a clip of him at 1 week postpartum, and I will also show you guys pictures of him because he's absolutely adorable. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Bye, loves. So, hey loves. So I'm really tired. Baby is now 6 days old, and we will be going to our first pediatrician appointment, and I overslept, so now I have an hour to get both him and I ready. But this is what he's looking like at 6 days old. The love of my life. I can't imagine my life without him. And hopefully he sleeps while I get ready, and then I can get him ready after. But anyways, I'm just going to vlog our first outing to the pediatrician, and then after the pediatrician, I want to go to the mall to get something for my stomach. At 6 days after giving birth, my stomach's still really big, so I need to get compression band for my stomach. But it's kind of amazing because you can see, like, he smiles. He's got the cutest little face. Oh my goodness. So cute. Anyways, I need to go and get ready. And we'll see how this first outing for both of us goes.